Please like and subscribe to the channel. I never thought I would find myself in a situation straight out of Reddit's Our Relationships or Our True Off My Chest. But life is unpredictable. And here I am, sitting in front of my laptop, trying to make sense of how my entire world fell apart overnight. It all started innocently enough. My girlfriend, let's call her Anna, and I had been together for nearly 5 years. We met back in university when we were both in our second year. She was the kind of person who could light up a room with her laughter, and I fell for her sincerity immediately. We were the perfect couple, or at least that's what I thought. The first few years were magical. We traveled together, supported each other's careers, and even started saving for a place of our own. I was absolutely sure that one day I would propose to her. But the last year changed everything. Anna started acting strangely. At first, it was small things. She stayed late at work more often, became a bit distant. When I asked if she was okay, she said it was just stress. I believed her because her job was genuinely demanding, but one night changed everything. One Friday, she told me she was going out for a girls' night with her friends. That wasn't unusual. Anna often met up with her friends, and I never minded. But this time, something about her behavior made me uneasy. She spent hours picking out a dress, doing her makeup as if she were going to a red carpet event. And most notably, she kept her phone close to her, which was unusual since she usually left it lying around. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something in my gut told me something was wrong. I tried to distract myself with video games and shows, but my mind kept wandering back to Anna and where she might be. Around 1 a.m., I heard a notification sound from her laptop. She had forgotten to log out of her account. I've never had the habit of snooping, but this time curiosity got the better of me. What I found shattered me completely. Her messages revealed a conversation with a guy I had never heard of before. Let's call him Max. Based on their texts, they had been seeing each other behind my back for months. She told him how much she missed him, how she couldn't wait to see him that night. He responded with hearts and pictures from a hotel room where, as I quickly deduced, they planned to meet. I felt the ground collapse beneath me. I had no words, just emptiness and pain. The worst part was that she continued to lie. She came home around 3 a.m., quietly sneaked into the bedroom and went to bed without even looking at me. I lay next to her, unable to sleep, my heart racing and my mind stuck on one question. How could she do this to me? The next morning, I knew I had to confront her. When she woke up, I simply asked, "Anna, is there something you want to tell me?" She looked surprised but quickly composed herself. "No, why?" I couldn't hold it in anymore and told her I knew about Max. Her face turned pale, then red with either anger or shame. She tried to explain, saying it was a mistake, that she was confused. But I couldn't trust her anymore. I packed my things and left that day. We didn't speak again. A week later, she sent me a long message apologizing and begging for a second chance. But I had already made up my mind. The trust she had broken could never be repaired. This experience taught me one thing. Even in the most trusting relationships, you have to pay attention to the details. And if something feels off, your gut instinct is rarely wrong. If you've read this far, thank you for listening. I just needed to get this off my chest and maybe hear from others. Have you ever been through something similar? How did you deal with it? Please like and subscribe to the channel. I never thought I'd find myself writing this, but life has a way of throwing surprises at you when you least expect them. If there's a subreddit for things you thought only happened in movies, this would belong there. Here's the story of how I unexpectedly inherited a fortune. It all started on a regular Tuesday. I was at work, stuck in yet another endless Zoom meeting, when I received an email from a law firm. At first, I thought it was spam. The subject line read, "Important information regarding an inheritance." Naturally, I rolled my eyes. I mean, who even gets emails like that in real life? But something made me click it. Curiosity, boredom, or maybe the slight chance it wasn't a scam. The email was short and formal. It stated that a distant relative of mine, someone I didn't even know existed, had passed away and named me in their will. It asked me to call a number to confirm my identity and arrange a meeting. I almost deleted it, but then I thought, what's the harm in calling? So during my lunch break, I called. A very professional-sounding woman answered and asked me a series of questions to verify who I was. After I passed her little test, she explained everything. Apparently, my great-uncle, someone my mom might have mentioned once in passing, had died a few months ago. He had no children or immediate family, and somehow my name ended up in his will. Here's the kicker. The inheritance was no small amount. We're talking millions. I laughed out loud when she said the number. Surely there had to be a mistake. I'm just an average guy with student loans, rent to pay, and a car that's one pothole away from falling apart. But she assured me it was real. She invited me to the law office the following week to go over the details. I spent the next few days in disbelief. I didn't tell anyone at first because I was convinced it was too good to be true. What if I'd misunderstood? What if it was some elaborate prank? But when the day of the meeting arrived, I put on my best and only suit and went to the office. Walking into that office felt surreal. The lawyer, Mr. Kent, greeted me warmly and handed me a stack of documents. He explained that my great-uncle, Robert, had been something of a recluse. He'd made his fortune in real estate and investments but had little contact with the rest of the family. Apparently, he'd been following my life from afar. He knew I'd struggled financially after college, switching between dead-end jobs before finally landing a stable one. In his will, he wrote that he admired my perseverance and wanted to give me a chance to live without the constant weight of financial stress. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Why me? I barely remembered ever hearing about this man. But the documents were real, and after a lot of legal jargon and signatures, it was official. I was now the owner of a bank account with more zeros than I'd ever imagined seeing in my lifetime. The days that followed were a whirlwind. I finally told my close friends and family, and their reactions ranged from disbelief to sheer excitement. My mom cried when she heard the news, saying that Uncle Robert had always been kind but distant. My best friend joked that I'd finally be able to pay for all the beers I owed him. But as the initial shock wore off, I found myself grappling with a strange mix of emotions. On one hand, this inheritance was life-changing. I could pay off my loans, help my family, and finally pursue things I'd always dreamed of. On the other hand, I felt a weird sense of guilt. Why had I been chosen? What about other family members? Did they feel overlooked? I reached out to the lawyer again, asking if anyone else had been included in the will. He told me that Uncle Robert had left smaller amounts to a few charities and distant relatives, but the bulk of it had gone to me. It was his decision, and no one had contested it. Still, I felt the weight of responsibility. I didn't want to squander this gift, so I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a financial advisor. Together, we made a plan. I set aside money for my family, invested wisely, and even started a small fund to help people who were in the same financial struggles I'd faced not long ago. It's been a few months now, and my life has completely transformed. I've moved into a nicer apartment, helped my parents pay off their mortgage, and even taken a dream vacation to Japan. But more importantly, I've gained a new perspective on life. This inheritance wasn't just about the money. It was a reminder that even in the toughest times, life can surprise you in the most unexpected ways. If you've made it this far, thanks for reading. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced something that completely turned your life upside down? How did you handle it?